Hello and welcome to the Mars Mission News Network, bringing you all the latest news from LEGO Legacy Heroes Unbox. And here is something very speculatory. This is my own attempt at making a possible event calendar based off of the information we got from the dev Q&A they did very recently about the space and raids updates. So this is all subject to change because this is all just my thoughts. So that doesn't mean it is real. And this is just based off of what they said, which is also subject to change because not all of this stuff is ready yet. So some of the things they said, like they might want to have run in October, might have to be ran in September, or might have to be delayed until November. So who knows? But this is just based off of if everything they said is going to be ran when they say it is, or they want it to be run. This is how I think it will be roughly laid out. And this is to try to maximize usage so we don't have too much downtime between events. We won't have whole weeks. There'll be some gaps where the event ends on a Sunday, the next one picks up on a Friday, but there's just no good way to really have it be done with how they like to have events start, at least for me, on Friday and end on a Sunday, and they last 9 days, I believe is the correct amount of time. It's like 10 days for me, but half a day here, half a day there. Also, just to clarify, this is based off of my own time. Events start for me at 10 a.m. on Fridays and end at 10 a.m. on a Sunday. So that's what I'm basing all these numbers off of. But our first thing, and this is pretty self-evident, we're having Primo. It's already appeared to everybody's events tab. It starts on Friday, at least for me. All of the events, I guess besides the Ghostbusters one, have lasted for their standard 9 days. So it'll start on the 4th of September, and it will last until the 13th of September. Pretty obvious, but that's just our starting point there. Next up, I expect we're going to be getting Quentin, who comes in at his own brick pace, or the Blacktron brick pace. I'm expecting that to run from the 18th to the 27th of September. The only reason why there's such a big gap here from these events is just we don't yet know when exactly the space update is coming. I don't expect to see this one till after we get the space update, and they said they want to have patch notes come out about a week beforehand. We might get them next week, but I expect maybe the week afterwards, and this would be about that Friday. Just give it a little bit of time. I can see this one being somewhat delayed, but seeing they don't have set prices yet for how much gold it will cost to go from level 50 to level 60, I kind of feel like this update isn't all done yet, so this is probably the most subject to change and would throw all the other stuff out of whack because this is just kind of the first one that is reliant on the new update. But as for why I believe this one is first, I asked about which were the new space minifigures slated to get released first, which is Quincy, and Quincy is the Blacktron 2 minifigure, and the Blacktron 2 minifigure will come in a brick pace. So I just kind of expect this one to be first. There is a new Unbox event which could come first, because I asked specifically about space, and the collectible minifigure isn't space, so it could come first. But I like to take this as that just means this one's coming first, and a little bit more interest in the Unbox. Hopefully we get to this one sooner. But up next we have the Unbox event for Clockwork Robot. Why do I believe it's Clockwork Robot? Will Waff says he's coming in the next update, which is the space update. And Abo said that we're getting a new collectible minifigure that will be got in this event. And he will work well with space, but he is not space. And how I believe Clockwork Robot will work well is he is techie and he does some speed stuff. I'm expecting he will work well with the new techie classic space fig, work well with I believe Galaxy Explorer, maybe it's Galactic Explorer, whatever that old classic space set is called, and that will work well with Reed. All of them can kind of synergize well together because that set does things with classic space and techie, and that is another techie fig to add into that. And I mean, he's already in the game. So they said we're only getting 2 new minifigures. This is a way to get a new minifigure that's not a new minifigure because he's already in the game. He's just not obtainable. I'm expecting this Unbox will run from the 25th of September to the 4th of October. Why? Well, we can have an Unboxed and a brick place at the same time, and this would give them time to allow the Blacktron event shop to run a few extra days before there is another event shop. So just kind of give it a little bit of downtime. Maybe they could run 2 event stores at the same time, but we haven't seen it yet. I don't know, maybe if they have the code built in to do so. So this just give you a little bit of like downtime, and would be an event, a very big quotation marks there, event in between, because I mean you do this event and it's over instantly, so but this will be something else to do. After that, I expect the next event we'll get is the Digi brick pace. They want it around early October, and this would be, of course, early October. I'm saying about the 2nd of October to the 11th of October, because that would be a Friday. It started on the 2nd, and they want to have Wu and Jay in September or October. They say they do for sure want to have Wu run in October if at all possible. I'm expecting DigiJ might be more around then too. He could run earlier, but I expect that they want to have the new space stuff first. Although if there is a delay, I could see them go ahead and rerunning DigiJ while they're waiting for the space stuff to be finished. So if there's a delay, I'm expecting this one to be first, but if not, I'm expecting this to come after the Unbox and brick pace for the space update. Just kind of a good filler thing, and this could be a little bit of a delay while they're waiting to get the raids finished. That's just kind of my thinking there. After that, at some point, we'll get the raids. I'm expecting that to probably launch around the DigiJ event. DigiJ is a new event many people are looking forward to, but it is a rerun, so it's not new. So it's not like it's too much for everybody to actually dig in and start doing, unlike the other actual new events they had done in the space event. So I see this launching. I expect it to probably be an event that won't be the only event running at the time, although we don't really know enough about the raids to really say exactly. But I can see this running at the same time as a rerun of a previous event, as opposed to an entirely new event on its own. And this would give us, of course, our last minifigure we would need for the space team. It's the last new space fig, and I would assume they want to kind of launch this. Well, they want to launch it as quickly as possible so people can actually play them, but launch this to give you enough time to presumably farm up this fig, so you maybe use it for the upcoming master event, which requires a 4 or 5 star space team. So I'm assuming they want to give you enough time to maybe get this from the raid, assuming it's kind of achieved with time. I don't know, they haven't really explained how the rewards work here, but I'll just assume that if you have more time to do this, it's easier to get the higher level rewards, and I'm assuming you have to get the higher level rewards to get a higher, I think it's it's Gen Slate is the new classic space minifigures. According to data mines, they could change the name once they launch, but that's why I'm just expecting there's going to be some rewards there. So I assume they want to have this running to be able to let people try to get that fig so they can use it for the master event. That's just my assumption, but we don't really know anything about the space events. The raid events. Next up, this is based off the assumption that we can have more than one event running, at least counting raids with that. I expect the next event would be the Wu Master event rerun, because they said they want to have him for sure to be back before Halloween. They think in October. They're still fleshing out the calendar. I think September would be a little too early, so I'm assuming October. I'm thinking from the 9th of October to the 18th of October. Yes, that would cut into a little bit of the DigiJ event, but this is a master event, so once you do it, it's over, like the Unbox event. And sure, you might can try leveling up a little bit, but there's only so much you can do while one of these is running, so I don't think it would take too much away from the DigiJ event, or vice versa. So I can see that doing it that way, and I'm expecting it to be kind of early like this, so you can have some downtime between the two master events, because 2 back-to-back master events might be a little bit too much. After that, assuming everything is run how I predict, which would be nice, because it leaves very little gaps of nothing to do, I think we might get some event that may give us non-such. Because WAF said non-such is coming very soon. He is a fig that already exists in the game, so it's not like they have to add an entirely new fig, so I would assume making an event for this would be a little bit easier. I don't know how they're going to add him back in. There was some talk about doing it with the Tyranny of Justice at some point, but I doubt they're reworking that to give us him. Maybe they are. Maybe that event is going to get 3 figs in it, because that's what everybody wants to fix that event. But I'm hoping that this means it's going to be something separate, because I would assume they are still working on fixing that, so you couldn't guarantee that he's going to be coming soon if he's coming with that. So I'm assuming this means he's coming separately. Would hope it means he's coming separately to actually get some more Imperial figs a little bit quicker. I know that the WAF's message is the best proof, because that doesn't really exactly tell us for sure he's coming soon. That could mean 4 months out, but I'm hoping that kind of means with this update, or at least the next update, because the raids update I kind of count within the possibilities of this one too. If one does run, I'm expecting from about the 16th of October to the 25th of October. That gets rid of some dead space, and unfortunately that will leave us with a little bit of dead space before the next event, but I think this is probably the best way to do it. And that would cut in a little bit of Wu's master event, but a lot of people already have him, and once you've done it, you've done it. I would assume it's likely that if you were able to get Wu, you probably get him the first couple of days he's up, and you don't really need all this time. So sure, the Wu event is running, but the Wu event is kind of dead for lots of people, because once you beat it, and if you can't beat it, it's not like you can really do too much else with it, so this will give you something to do. And finally, we have the new master event. It is Spooktacular, and it's supposed to launch on or for Halloween, which is a Saturday. And you know how they like to launch events on Fridays. So I see this event launching on the 30th of October and lasting until the 8th of November. It could launch 1 week earlier, but I personally think going live 1 day before Halloween feels better for a Spooktacular fig. So that's just kind of my thinking here. It could do that, so there's a little bit less of a dead space there. That would be the 23rd, but then it just kind of barely does Halloween, because it would end on the 1st of November, and that feels like it might be a little too soon. I'd really like the Halloween event launch just a little before Halloween and go afterwards, as opposed to launching a decent bit beforehand and ending around Halloween. That's just my own thinking. But this is how I feel the event calendar is going to kind of be laid out, maybe what type of events we can look forward to. If you feel differently, definitely leave that below. I'd love to discuss this. Hopefully we get a calendar soon, but I decided before we get calendars, let's just do some theory crafting based off of all we had. I know I kind of went over this a little bit in the news or the Q&A recap video at the very end of that, but I wanted to go ahead and make my own whole video about it, because I'd like to see if I actually get this stuff right. I don't know, I'd be very curious. I'm about 9% sure this is going to be actually true. I foresee this not coming out in this order, and also just general delays anyways, really messing this up, because we know how at the very release of this game, all the planned content they had for, including Scarlet and everything, and how it took us 2 months to get to the Tyranny of Justice event, and that was planned I think for the first month, maybe second month of release. I don't know, it was seemed very early. I know a lot of stuff got delayed there, so I don't want to get my expectations too high, but I think this would be a pretty cool calendar of events, very jam-packed, and I hope it does actually come out to be as such. So until next time, this is Ripley signing off. Goodbye and have a wonderful day, and I hope this calendar is actually going to be true or something similar. Goodbye, and have a wonderful day.